7 of the negative confession. There's a law. I have not gone to bed with my kind. A man speaking that he have not committed sodomy.
Right.
I have not committed sodomy.
Mm-hmm.
To have a law against sodomy,
Maybe somebody had it.
somebody had committed, so much so that they felt it had to be in the law that govern the country. A law against, number 27 is a law against sodomy.
Mm-hmm. So they really looked at and studied the principles which would bring about balance, harmony, and peace.
Which would regulate the society, yes.
And then those became the guiding principles for a nation.
They became the law of the deity. And the deity was both female and male. You had goddess and you had gods.
How did they become the law of the deity? How do you
The 42 negative confessions. They were said, but you said it to Ma'at. You said it to Ma'at, but it's to the God. It went to God. You said it before Ma'at, but Ma'at represented the god and goddess, the deities.
Then did the priests and pharaohs and were they subject to the same law as the people?
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah, you had. They were subject to the 42 negative confession. Everybody was subject to the negative confession. That the Pharaoh said that when he died.
But how could you keep them accountable? You couldn't dethrone the Pharaoh.
You looking for the law to make sense. Law don't make sense. Law is the belief of men. You see, men didn't always worship gods and goddesses.
Yeah.
Or man worshiped his ancestors before that.
The Egyptians too?
Yeah. You worship the dead people. When they died, it give you more reason why you honor them.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to be dead to be a god or goddess. You were alive when you be. And some people, then you carry your power with you.
But
because many men were gods and goddesses in their lifetime.
Was Osiris a real person?
Osiris was the governor of An. An today is called Cairo. Where Egypt, you see where Egypt, you go to outside of Egypt, you got An, the city of An, the city of the sun. Mm-hmm. Osiris was governor of there.
So he was a real person?
He was supposed to be a real person that turned to a god.
Why did they make him? How did that happen? Maybe just.
It's a part of the theology.
Okay, but he must have did something in his life that.
Yeah, because he acted in justice. He was an honest man. You got justice when you went to his court.
Okay. What about Isis? Was she?
Isis was his wife, Aset.
Oh, okay. So they modeled.
She was his sister too.
So they modeled their deities
according to them, those people.
Real people.
Yes, because Aset, who you call Isis, is Asaru's sister, and she's also the sister of Set, the bad god. Osiris was the good god, Asaru, and Set was the bad god. Because he did bad things, equivalent to what you call the devil today.
And he was historically supposed to have been a real person too.
Was a family. A real person that did bad things.
So this was a family.
Yeah. Asaru, they were sisters. Didn't you know that Asaru and Nephthys and Aset were sisters. Osiris and Set were brothers. They were a foursome, four people who were brothers and sisters to the all four. And there were two bad women. Nephthys was not considered good, and Set wasn't good. Osiris was good, and Isis was good. One of each. One of each.
So actually, they looked at the makeup, the character of humanity, of human beings,
right?
And they then projected that in terms of.
And they put that out.
Yeah.
That became God, and God sent the laws, and everything started from them. Yeah.
And then they could see how to balance that. But in terms of ancestor worship, was there a kind of a uniform culture throughout Africa?
Yeah, you honor the ancestors become the gods and goddesses
throughout all of Africa.
Yeah, all of Africa. Ancestor worship is normal. You're gonna love your grandmother. You're going to love your grandfather, you love your great-grandmother, your great-grandfather. Naturally, you're going to love them. They're the people who give birth to you. You're going to love the people who give birth to you.
Always.
Your grandfather go big shot.
So Egypt was not that different from the rest of Africa?
No, it was just more pronounced. It's where you got the writing. Egypt is different because the fact that you got the first writing. Egypt and Ethiopia, there is where you get the first writing. They record it. Anybody else before that is a belief. Before writing is belief. Writing make facts. You could record events.
Right.
I could tell you what a man said 300 years before. I don't live it. But the man write it down. Writing start facts.
Now, one other thing that all these European historians try to project in terms of removing the institution of writing from Egypt and putting it in Sumer and Mesopotamia and all that. But wasn't that
can
just
talk it, but it can't produce anything to support it.
Well, now they say they got the cuneiform, and
the dots. They said these dots mean this. They said so. But the evidence they can't produce. But when you take up Egyptian writing, you can see writing, actual shapes. It has writing. Don't have to be that, this, that, and this. All they know.
Many people say that that they believe that these things were created anyway and planted over there, and they not.
That's right, because only lately they couldn't produce a language, a complete language. Whereas in Egypt you had a complete language. You had a writing for the priests who wrote the theological writing, and eventually you had a writing for the masses. They corresponded to each other. So the intellectual mass, So the average man couldn't read. The ignorant poor people couldn't read. Reading and writing was a craft for the intellectuals, and you could get your child, if you were poor, given to be a priest, and he could learn. He got 40 years of study to make a priest.
What did they study?
Engineering, science, law, everything that I had at the time. That's why it took 40 years.
Astronomy.
It took 40 years because he had to memorize these things. Memory. Somebody asked me, why you could lecture with all those dates and so? I said, because I was taught to memorize. I was taught to remember what I read.
Yes.
And that's the white man. He's not taught memory. He must have paper. He has been taught to memorize.
Let me ask you, just in terms of North Africa, where that area of Mesopotamia and Sumer and all that, that was just an extension of Northeast Africa anyway, right?
North Africa and where Egypt ended.
So who lived in that area?
Egyptians.
No, I'm talking about in the area of Sumer. Were those
Then
African
above
people?
above Egypt comes Israel.
Okay. But wasn't Israel once a black land? I mean, black people.
It was another land. In those days, they didn't speak of black people and white people and green people. Unless they said black, you assuming. That's why I don't speak history in color of skin. I speak by name of country.
Okay.
You know the changes of the country by name. You don't. They didn't talk about black people or white people. No way you saw it in ancient language.
So they were not races in terms of color.
They were racist, but not in terms of color. You can say, because they didn't say color. They spoke about nationality against nationality. And then you would know they were racist, because it turns out to happen to be that the nationality against a nationality was a white nation against a black nation. These are the reasons.
These are the reasons that they gave you the doctorate
Right.
here. Hold that for a minute. Just let me get a picture of you with your doctorate degree. How do you feel about being bestowed with that degree, Doctor?
Particularly one of all the degrees. This one, because it's given to me by a black man who is the president of the city college. It's the first time a black person gave me a degree in front of a black college. I was always getting degrees by a white man or white woman, never a black man in a black college, and it means so much. That's why I started crying, because it emotionally meant to me for the first time a black man was giving me such a degree. Whereas from 90, given the time they give of my life, see?
Can you read some of them?
Well, for instance, it says, whereas Joseph Alfredo Antonio Benjamin needed his early education in public schools of Brazil, South America, United States, Virgin Islands, Cinquex, and Puerto Rico, and earned a Bachelor of Science degree, Civil Engineering from the College of Engineering and Agriculture at the University of Puerto Rico, San Germán. 1935, Master of Science in Architectural degree, Cambridge University, England in 1937. His first PhD in Cultural Anthropology, Universidad de Havana, Cuba, 1940, and a PhD in Moorish History from the University of Barcelona in Spain, 1941, and the LLB from La Salle University in Extension in Chicago, Illinois, 1954. Whereas before immigrating to the United States in 1945, Justus Ben Johannan was out in 1939 by his father to study in Egypt, and served briefly as a assistant prosecutor in Puerto Rico, and was an associate professor of Caribbean and African history of the University of Puerto Rico, and from 1940-42, and so as a member of the civilian contingent of the United States Army of engineers, and was a lieutenant in the United States Maritime Service during World